नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, खूप सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांच्या डिमांड नंतर आपण आपली इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच इंग्लिशमध्ये सुरू करत आहोत. ही इंग्लिशमधील बॅच मी जवळपास सर्वच्या सर्व लक्ष्मीकांत कव्हर करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. ही इंग्लिश मीडियममधल्या बॅचची तुम्हाला एक नोट्ससुद्धा मिळेल आणि यासोबतच तुम्हाला या बॅचचे सर्वच्या सर्व व्हिडिओज, आपलं जे ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचा लाल कलरचा लोगो असणारा ॲप आहे, या लाल कलरचा लोगो असणाऱ्या ॲपवर तुम्हाला सर्वच्या सर्व बॅच मिळेल. मग या बॅचला ॲक्सेस किती असेल, व्हिडिओज केव्हा अपलोड केले जातील, तुम्ही ते व्हिडिओज किती दिवस पाहू शकता, या सर्व बाबतीतली सर्वच्या सर्व सूचना त्या ॲपवरच त्या ठिकाणी सूचना या सदरामध्ये तुम्हाला दिलेली आहे. तर मी तुम्हाला सर्वांना सुचवेल, ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांना इंग्लिश मीडियममधनं इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच हवी होती, तुम्ही ही बॅच नक्की जॉईन करा. तुमच्या मित्रांसोबत सुद्धा शेअर करा. यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला प्रत्येक कन्सेप्ट सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न तर केला आहेच, मात्र या कन्सेप्टच्या सोबतच त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जो महत्त्वाचा कंटेंट आहे आणि त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जे महत्त्वाचा फॅक्च्युअल डेटा आहे, जो तुमच्या परीक्षेसाठी अत्यंत उपयुक्त असतो, हा सर्वच्या सर्व डेटा सुद्धा मी त्या ठिकाणी देण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो तुम्हाला सर्वांना विनंती की बॅच शेअर करा आणि जॉईन करा. थँक्यू. हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम यू ऑल टू ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमी. टुडे we are going to discuss the last part of preamble of Indian Constitution. As we have studied few important points. First important point was preamble is an introduction to Indian Constitution. Basically, preamble gives us an essence of Indian Constitution, or it gives us gist of Indian Constitution. In this, we have seen what is the source of authority for Indian Constitution. Second, we have seen what is the nature of state that is being expected in our constitution through preamble. Now, third thing that we are going to study is what are the objectives of the Indian constitution as being expected by this particular preamble. What are the objectives is our main focus. So, let's start with what are the objectives that we are expecting. Here we are expecting four most important objectives for our people. They are justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. So these are the four most important objectives that we want to give to our citizens. Now, how preamble reads, I will repeat it once again. See, we, the people of India, on this line made it very, very clear that the source of authority behind this constitution is people of India. It means Indian constitution is based on popular sovereignty, is based on power of the people. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So this was the nature of state that we were expecting. We wanted to have a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic nation, and to give its citizens justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. So these four things are the objectives before Indian constitution as being manifested in the preamble. So we will try to understand this every word one by one in a very simple manner. Let's start. First, what is justice? We want to give justice to our people. Then the question comes, what is meaning of justice? So justice is a concept on ethics and law. That means people behave in a way that is fair, equal and balanced for everyone. It means justice is a behavior of people which is fair, which is equal, which is rational and which is balanced for everyone. It means whenever a state, a machinery or a person or an institution is having any kind of interpersonal, interinstitutional or any kind of interaction with its surrounding, that interaction should be fair, it should be equal, it should be rational and it should be balanced with all people without any discrimination is a justice. And our constitution strives to achieve this justice. Our constitution says we want to maintain, we want to achieve this justice, which is very, very essential for the democratic functioning of India. So that is, justice is a concept on ethics and law. That means that people behave in a way that is fair, equal and balanced for everyone. Here, one important point from examination point of view, the concept of justice has been taken from Russian Revolution, which occurred in 1917, which is also called as October Revolution. So we have taken this concept of justice from Russian Revolution of 1917, which is also called as October Kranti or October Revolution. in this particular case, we want to have three kinds of justice: social justice, political justice, and economic justice. Indian constitution strives to give its citizen three kinds of justices: social, political, and economic justice. Here we will try to understand all these three types of justice. First, let's try to understand what is social justice. Now, social justice means equal treatment of all citizens irrespective of any social obligation or irrespective of any social exclusion. Now, what definition says? Let's see. It is the equal treatment of all citizens without any social distinction or without any social discrimination, which is based on caste, color, race, religion, sex, and so on. It is not son, it is so on. It means while enjoying all kinds of social processes, social structures, social institutions, and social things, there should not be any kind of discrimination based among the citizens. Clear? It is a social justice. It is absence of special privileges to any particular section of society based on, again, social privileges. There should not be any social privileges to any section of society. Social justice is being aimed to be achieved through Article 15, Article 17, Article 23, Article 38, and Article 43. All these 5 articles are very, very important, which aims at achieving social justice and which is being manifested through the preamble of Indian Constitution. So, social justice, no social distinction, no social privilege. Or simple terms, social justice means no social discrimination, no social privilege. It means no one should be given a treatment which is unfair, no should be given a treatment which is more, what we can say, more a kind of privileged one. So, it is a social justice. It is article based on Article 15, 17, 23, 38 and Article 43. Then comes second, that is economic justice. It is a non-discrimination between people based on economic factors. It means discrimination should not be there based on economic criteria. It is given or it is being manifested through Article 38, Article 39 and Article 40. Clear? So, it talks about economic justice. And last one is political justice. All citizens should have equal political rights, equal access to all political offices and equal voice in the government. So, equal rights, equal right to offices and equal voice in the government is a political justice which is being achieved, which is being aimed at to be achieved through this constitution. It is given in Article 326 or it is manifested or it is being aimed to be achieved through Article 326. So, it is social justice, political justice and economic justice which is the objective or which is the ideal before Indian Constitution. Social justice, political justice and economic justice. Then second is liberty. What is meaning of liberty? In simple term, it is absence of any kind of restraints or any kind of restrictions or any kind of unwarranted limitations which affect the fulfillment of enjoyment of a person, fulfillment of right to life and personal liberty, which affect the enjoyment of a person's fullest life. It means what is liberty? It is absence of restraints on the activities of individual and providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities without any discrimination is liberty. But my dear friends, liberty in case of Indian Constitution is not absolute. It is qualified. Certain reasonable restrictions are there which have been imposed on the behavior of an individual. Liberty is not absolute, but it is qualified with some reasonable restrictions. Here one important point from examination point of view. The term or the concept of liberty has been taken from French Revolution of 1789 to 1799. The concept of justice has been taken from Russian Revolution. The concept of liberty has been taken from French Revolution. This is important. Then comes equality. Third important objective, equality. It is absence of special privileges to any section of society and provision of adequate opportunities for all individuals without any discrimination is equality. No special privileges and no discrimination is the concept of equality. Here we want to have three kinds of equality: civic equality, political equality, and economic equality. Let's try to understand what these three means. Our constitution embraces civic equality, then second is political equality, and third is economic equality. Now, civic equality is equality of opportunity and privileges and no discrimination in civic life of an individual. Civic equality is being aimed through certain important constitutional provision which are Article 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. You have to mug up these articles which are very, very important. Civic equality is being aimed to be achieved through Article 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Article 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 aims at achieving civic equality. Then second is political equality. It is Article 325 and Article 326 which aims at achieving political equality. Article 325 and Article 326 which aims at achieving political equality. And lastly, economic equality, it is Article 39 which aims at achieving economic equality. Clear? So, civic equality, political equality and economic equality are three important dimensions of equality which we want to strive through preamble of the Indian Constitution. And these articles are very, very important. We are going to study these articles in details when we are going to study those respective chapters where these articles are present. Clear? So, no need to worry. Even no need to remember or mug up these articles. Just try to remember these articles. We will come up with the details discussions on these articles very soon in the days to come. The next is fraternity, bandhutva. Now, first thing, the word fraternity has two important dimensions. First, maintaining dignity of an individual. The word fraternity has two important dimensions. First, it is maintaining dignity of individual, and when dignity of an individual is maintained, it ultimately leads to unity and integrity of the nation. If there is no dignified behavior, if there is no dignified treatment to an individual, it ultimately affects the unity and integrity of a nation. That's why here you have to remember, here fraternity signifies dignity of an individual in his social life, political life, economic life or in civic life. Everywhere, every individual, irrespective of his caste, creed, religion, culture, sex or place of birth, should be given a dignified life without any demeaning of his human values. And when these values are being respected, when his behavior, when his life is respected, ultimately he will have a feeling of respect, he will have a feeling of brotherhood for all other members of his society or for all other members of his community, and it will lead to protecting, securing unity and integrity of the nation. It is being aimed to be achieved through Article 51A and Article 1. Article 51A talks about fundamental duties. Now, what are the opinions about preamble? This part is very, very important for your preliminary examination. What are the various opinions about preamble? Here you could definitely get a question like match the pair. So, what are those opinions? Let's go for it. This preamble has been called as horoscope. No need to remember entire line because it is very difficult. Just try to remember who said what. So, preamble has been called as a horoscope by K.M. Munshi. Preamble has been called as a yardstick by Pandit Thakur Das Bhargava. Second important point. It has been called as a yardstick by Pandit Thakur Das Bhargava. What we went through or what we thought or what we dreamed is called as Alladi Krishnasamy Iyer. It means preamble reflects what we thought of, what we dreamed of. So this is simple reflection of our thoughts and our dream in the preamble. Preamble is I-card of the Indian Constitution. It is said by Nani Palkhiwala. Preamble is the best draft is said by M.V. Piley. Then stunning principles of welfare state is called by J.B. Kripalani. Preamble reflects stunning principles of welfare state is being said by J.B. Kripalani. This is important component. It is keynote to the Indian Constitution as said by Sir Ernest Barker. Then Justice M. Hidayatullah said, more than declaration of independence of America, it is preamble is a part of the Constitution. It is same like the declaration of American War of Independence. M. Hidayatullah compared preamble to the American Declaration of War of Independence. These are certain important keywords which are used by people about the preamble. Now, another important question came to our mind is preamble a part of the Indian Constitution? This was the question. Here, I think title is missing. Is preamble a part of the Indian Constitution? Preamble is part or not? Now, why this question came out preamble? As I told you, Constitution is fundamental law of the land. It is a book. Like every book has an introduction, same is the case. Indian Constitution also has an introduction, and that introduction is called as a preamble of the Indian Constitution. Now, this is the first thing. Then comes second important point. What is that point? Is preamble a part of the Indian Constitution? Now, why this question came? Because when the draft of Constitution and draft of preamble came before the Constituent Assembly, these two drafts have been passed in two separate sittings. First, Constitution was passed and enacted by Constituent Assembly, which was working as Parliament at that time. And once Constitution is passed, same Constituent Assembly working as Parliament of India passed Preamble of India. That's why this was very, very important question about whether Preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution or not. This was very important question. So when this question came before Supreme Court in 1960s, very, very famous Birubari Union case. In Birubari Union case, India had to cede a part of Indian territory, that is Birubari Union, to East Pakistan. This is very famous case leading to various constitutional interpretations and all those things. So in this particular case, what happened? In Birubari Union case of 1960, Supreme Court said that preamble is not a part of the Indian Constitution. It means in Birubari Union case, Supreme Court narrowly interpreted the things, and Supreme Court came to the conclusion that this preamble is not a part of the Indian Constitution, but Supreme Court is a court of review. I remember this word. Supreme Court is a court of review, and Supreme Court has the right to review or change its own judgment. So in 1973, in Keshwananda Bharati case, Supreme Court itself said preamble is the part of Indian Constitution. Means earlier judgment of Birubari Union case was reversed by Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said no, it's not the case. Preamble is an integral part of the Indian Constitution as per Supreme Court in Keshwananda Bharati case, which later on led to the giving away a very novel concept to Indian Constitution. That concept is basic structure of Indian Constitution. Then came another important case in 1995. The name of the case was LIC of India case 1995. In LIC of India case 1995, Supreme Court again clearly said preamble is an integral part of the Indian Constitution and it is basic structure of Indian Constitution. They said it is basic structure of Indian Constitution. So here two things are very, very clear. Preamble is an integral part of Indian Constitution. Second, preamble is basic structure of Indian Constitution. Now here remember, my dear friends, from examination point of view, these two sentences, these two lines are very, very important. First line, preamble is an integral part of the Indian Constitution. Second line, preamble is part of the basic structure of Indian Constitution. Clear? Then now another important question comes, can preamble be amended? Now here one thing is very, very clear. While starting this particular chapter on preamble, I told you one very, very important line. This preamble of the Indian Constitution has been amended once. It has been amended by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. This 42nd Amendment Act is called as Mini Constitution. Now, this 42nd Amendment Act has amended Indian Constitution and it added three important words. The three important words are sovereign. The three important words are socialist, secular, and integrity. So these three words, socialist, secular, and integrity, have been added into the Indian Constitution by 42nd Amendment Act. It means preamble can be amended. But what was the constitutional legal history about amendment of the preamble? What was the situation before 42nd Amendment Act? So when this question came, whether this preamble can be amended or not, in this case, in Birwari Union, in Keshavananda Bharati case of 1973, Supreme Court said preamble can be amended as it is an integral part of the Indian Constitution. Before this case, Supreme Court refused to accept the plea that preamble can be amended. Before this, it was not allowed to amend the preamble, but from 24th of April 1973, Supreme Court herself said that yes, preamble can be amended as it is an integral part of the Indian Constitution, and Article 368 talks about amendment of the Constitution. So if preamble is part of the Constitution, preamble can also be amended, as they have said. Now there are certain important conclusions. First conclusion, preamble is not a source of power to make laws. What it means? It means legislature cannot make a law and say that this law is based on preamble, and you cannot challenge this law as it is based on preamble. You have right to make law. That law can be challenged also. But here this line specifically says you cannot give immunity to that law saying it is based on preamble. Why? Because preamble is not a source of to make law. You cannot claim it is based on preamble, that's why it cannot be challenged. You can make law, but you cannot prevent any kind of review of that law. Second, preamble is not a prohibition upon the legislative power of parliament. It is reverse of first point. No person, no institution, or no one can object law-making power of parliament saying that this law-making power of parliament is against preamble. No, you cannot claim, you cannot object legislative power of parliament. It means anything given in the preamble is not a prohibitory action on legislative power of the parliament. It is not the case. Then comes third one. Preamble is non-justiciable part of the Indian Constitution. Remember, my dear friends, preamble is non-justiciable part of the Indian Constitution. As we have seen 4 important points, fundamental rights is justiciable part of Indian Constitution, fundamental duties, non-justiciable part, DPSP, non-justiciable part, and finally, preamble is a non-justiciable part of the Indian Constitution. These 4 are very, very important points you have to remember. Fundamental rights, it is justiciable part of Indian Constitution. Fundamental duties, non-justiciable. DPSP, non-justiciable. Preamble, non-justiciable. This is very, very clear thing you have to keep in mind. So, preamble is non-justiciable part of the Indian Constitution. Clear? So, that's all from my side on preamble of the Indian Constitution. We will be coming up with more and more topics of Indian polity in the days to come. So keep watching and keep sharing with your friends so that we can go for more number of lectures. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.